Stop what you're doing right now and check out my picks for this video in the description section below. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. My name is Brock Page, and I don't know anything about sports handicapping. I'm also still doing random sports picks for fun, and you might be surprised as to who I'm picking in the NBA today. Once again, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. And with that said, let's get into some picks for Tuesday, April 18th. Let's go ahead and start in the East. I'm talking about Milwaukee plus 7.5 at Toronto with the total at 193. Currently, the Raptors are laying 350 on the money line, and at the moment, 64% of the bettors think Milwaukee will get the job done. Speaking of the Bucks, they've done a fine job against the number as of late, covering 3 of their last 4. They're facing a Raptors team who's covered just 11 of 25 versus teams around 500. On a side note, 3 out of both teams' last 4 games have gone under the line. All that said, I'm ready to make my pick as I think Milwaukee plus 7.5 gets the job done. When it comes to the total, I think this one stays under 193. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think Toronto wins it in a close one. I'm also adjusting the line and taking Milwaukee plus 15.5 as the first pick of my 8-point super teaser. Next game, Chicago at Boston. The betting opened up with the Celtics as the 7-point favorites and the total at 206. Since then, Boston's now -6 against the spread with the total moving downward to 204.5. Currently, the Celtics are laying 250 on the money line, and at the moment, 51% of the bettors think the Celtics will get the job done. Speaking of Boston, they've actually struggled against the number as of late, failing to cover in 2 out of their last 3. They also covered just 40% at home. They're facing a Chicago team who covered an impressive 3 of their last 4. They're also a solid 20-12 against the spread versus teams over 500. On a side note, 3 out of Boston's last 4 games have gone over the total posted points. All that said, I'm ready to make my pick as I think Chicago plus 6 once again gets the job done against the spread. When it comes to the total points, I think this one goes over 204.5. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think Boston gets the W in a real close one. I'm also adjusting the line and taking Chicago plus 14 as the second pick of my 8-point teaser. That's going to take us over into the West. Our next and final game for the show, Utah at the LA Clippers. The betting opened up with the Clippers as the 7.5-point favorites and the total at 196.5. Since then, the LA Clippers are now -8 against the spread with the total moving downward to 195.5. Currently, the Clippers are laying 380 on the money line, and at the moment, 70% of the money's on Utah to get the job done. Speaking of the Jazz, they've been solid against the number as of late, failing to cover just 1 out of their last 4. They're facing a Clippers team who covers just 47% of their games as the favorite. On a side note, both teams are collectively averaging 198 total combined points in their previous 4 games respectively. All that said, I'm ready to make my pick as I think Utah plus 8 will get the job done. When it comes to the total, I think this one goes over 195.5. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think the Clippers once again win it in a close one. I'm also adjusting the line and taking the Utah Jazz plus 15 as the third and final pick of my 3-teamer. Just a reminder, my 8-point Sweetheart Super Teaser pays 5 to 6 and gets graded as a loss should any game result in a push. You can find this exotic wager in several online sports books and in the state of Delaware. Well, folks, that is going to do it for me. Once again, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page, predictions and sports picks, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.